Hi, how are you?
Hi.
There you
Oh, are
go.
you asking me?
Yeah, no, you're the one that's on the
Well,
screen, right?
normally you just say your little spiel, and I'm just sitting over here waving.
Right, right. You got it down. It only took a year before you finally paused long enough for me to say my spiel, so I figured I'd mix it up and not do my spiel. It worked.
Yeah. And then confuse me in the meantime.
Yep, that seems to be pretty common around these parts. As my mechanic says, it's common for that make and model. So, we've got a shit ton of books to go through today. I think 45 or something like that because we haven't done the show in a few weeks because I was on
46
vacation.
plus
Yeah,
the three I'm listening to,
but who's
so.
counting? And
Yeah.
then on top of that, we did the GRL thing. So yeah, we've been going for several weeks here. So
Yeah. And then
how's your
you got
feet?
sick.
How's the swelling? Everything all right? You able to walk around again and all
Uh,
that?
yeah, my feet are fine.
Good. I'm just checking on you. You seem to be a little. About 2 days into GRL, you're like, I can't move, and then you just like stayed in the overflow room for a long time. So
Well, the bed I had, the rollaway bed, was not comfortable at all.
yeah.
Absolutely. I
Well,
should have just used the air mattress I had, so.
so you shared a room with Tay and Brooke. Is that correct?
Hmm.
Excellent.
Yeah,
So
they had
and
the bed, I had the rollaway bed.
well, obviously Tay's going to get the bed. She's pregnant
Yes.
with little Solo, so that's a fantastic thing. But there was only
Yeah.
one bed, you're saying? So Brooke and Tay shared the
Yeah.
bed. Was there any?
Hmm.
Was there any?
No.
I mean, you were on
No.
the rollaway, so maybe you couldn't see. I don't know. Tay's about as
No, it
safe
was
as you
right
can
next
get
to
these
it.
days. Tay can't even get pregnant now because she's already pregnant. So that's like as safe as you can. That's like built. Anyways, by the way, Brooke sent me these cookies, and well, not sent. She brought cookies and cheesecake, which I was unsure about the cupcakes, but I did eat some of them.
They were good.
I ate all of them. They were delicious. It's just they
Yeah.
got in my beard, and then they got all over the floor. But anyways, so on the way home from GRL, me and Jody and Anna are all on a little two-door Jeep, and I realize like I am cookied out. I cannot eat one single more cookie, which is beyond anything I've ever thought could happen to me. So I had this little box that I got from the final night at GRL. We had the big prom party deal, and they had little takeout boxes. So I got a little takeout box, and I put all the cookies I could fit in there, Brooks. And I almost left them at the Airbnb because I was like, I can't eat any more cookies. But I decided, well, that's a waste of good cookies. So I put them in the trasharoo. It's the back little backpack thing we have on the back of Ruby. I put them back in there, and I was like, well, keep them back here. We made it about 2 hours down the road. We stopped at our first rest stop because I'm traveling with women, and that's what has to happen. And
Yeah.
I realized at that moment that I am in fact not cookied out. So I got the cookies again, and then Anna in the back seat was my cookie dealer the rest of the way home. It was fantastic.
Yeah, she still had a lot left, and I ended up taking some home as well.
There was
She
really
gave me
good
a little.
cookies.
She gave me a Ziploc baggie, and I think I gave them to my mother and uncle when they were over here. So.
You know, the only time I ever used Ziploc bags until I was in my 30s was to put marijuana in them. That's the only time I ever used those. I didn't realize they had other uses until that. Yeah, because
Hmm.
they were perfect, but you couldn't get the ones with the zipper on. You couldn't do that. You had to get the ones without the zipper because then you could weigh them with the little scale dealie that everybody had. So, anyways, I was. I wonder how
But
much those
we did
cookies weighed.
miss you at that breakfast brunch thing
Yeah,
Sunday
was there a lot of
because
people
you
there?
kind of confused me. Saturday night, you're like, "I'll see you Thursday." I'm like, "What?" It's like,
Yeah,
"Aren't you coming?"
I'm not fond of the breakfast deal at all. I mean, I've
It
done a
was
couple of
good.
them now, and I just don't. I don't know. I don't need that in my life. And we'd already
Yeah,
said our goodbyes to everyone, so we were off on the road,
twice
and
to me because I walked down there with Jody and Anna.
that surprised me. You walked another long distance. I was shocked. I was like, I can't believe she's coming down all the way here. But I figured maybe there was something I was missing, perhaps, or maybe you left something in our car, even though you were never in. I don't know. Something happened there. We got a shit
No, I was
ton of
being
books
nice
to
and
get
walking
through
them
here.
down.
Well, that's convenient of you. I'm going to get to the first one here. We're going to do our deal, and it looks like we got a bunch of audio samples, and even there was a video sample. The name of it surprised me, and I couldn't put two and two together until I finally put two and two together. So I'll let you be the judge of that. First one we have coming up here is
A Thief in the Night by K.J. Charles, narrated by James Joseph and Ryan Lafton.
That one came out on the
Lofton?
13th. I think it's probably Lawton, but if I'm an author, I feel like I should probably use initials instead of like a name. It's like a really common. Have you noticed that? Like, instead of being John Solo as an author, I would be like, JB Solo or something like that. That's the way to go about it.
If you
It
really
happens a
wanted
lot.
to?
Well, it happens a lot, and it doesn't happen much in the narration world. You don't have like JB Solo, the narrator. It's always like John Solo. But as an author, it'd be JB Solo. They use the initials. It's a tricky thing. I wonder why they do it.
That's just what they wanted to do.
A lot of them do that, though. If you notice, that's a trend. A lot of authors use initials instead of a name,
Yeah.
whereas narrators just use a name. I don't understand the distinction between the two. I think maybe there was a famous author at one point that used their initials, and then other authors were like, well, that's cool, and it's tricky. I don't know. The second one here we have is a video clip. I will let you be the judge of this. Here we go.
Hello. It is I, Gary Furlong, here to talk to you all today about a book which is already released. That's right, it's not releasing in 4 days, because I'm recording it after it's been released. That's what's happening right here. It is called The Gilded Scarab, Lancaster's Luck, Book 1, by Anna Butler, narrated by moi. For Decent Fellows Press, let me read the blurb for you right now. When Captain Rafe Lancaster is invalided out of the Britannic Imperium's Aero Corps after crashing his aerofighter during the Second Boer War, his eyesight is damaged permanently. And his career as a fighter pilot is over. Fighter pilot? Oh! Returning to London in late November 1899, he's lost the skies he loved, has no place in a society ruled by an elite oligarchy of powerful houses, and is hard up, homeless, and in desperate need of a new direction in life. Everything changes when he buys a coffee house near the Britannic Imperium Museum in Bloomsbury, the haunt of Egyptologists. For the first time in years, Rafe is free to be himself. Oh! Very good. Now, the book is out now. It's very good. Exceptionally well written. I enjoyed it a lot, and I think you should go get it. Melissa, is the book definitely out now? I can say it will be released on the 14th, but I know I have made that mistake every single time I've made a video for you, so just in case I'm not supposed to say that, I've said it's out now, but of course it should be in the future when this video will be out. But that's just between you and me. Don't air this bit. Cut this bit out. Slash it out. Get your editing knife and chop it. Chop it out. Get rid of it. Excise it. Am I still recording? Okay, bye.
That is one hot man. And when I say hot, I do not mean physically attractive. I think he's very sweaty. He's a sweaty man. I wanted to fix his hair several times there. This is like, let me just get that out of your way for you there, buddy. We love Gary.
Well,
Gary,
after I watched that video, I even messaged him. I said I couldn't even edit that video even if I wanted to, because I don't know how to edit.
There's this magic thing called YouTube where you type in how to edit a video and it tells you how. Betty, I agree with you. Betty T mentioned initials confuse search engines. Not so much the initials, but the spaces do. Betty, I am there with you entirely. I have an author friend of mine that I email at least 15 times a year because I do a lot of work for her. And she put a letter, period, then last name in her email. My email search engine will not pull up if I just put letter, last name. I have to remember to put letter, period. It's ridiculous.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Let's make a movement. Let's start a movement to no more initials and acronyms. Can we get acronyms on that bill too? No more initials or acronyms. Let's make this work. Anyways,
are you off your little rant thing?
Yeah, Betty is right. He needs glory holes in his booth. Gary Furlong, get yourself a glory hole. They're the new rage.
I told that to Drew last night because he was working on some kinky wizardry stuff, and he jumped in and he said it was hot in his booth, I said, go get some glory holes. But he's in a closet, so he kind of can't.
Yeah, a lot of people in the closet actually enjoy the use of glory holes because of the anonymity. Anyways, the next one we've got coming up here is
Woo. A Passing in the Rain by Christian Acuff, narrated by Byron Hagen.
that one
A
came
lot
out
of
on
new
the
narrators.
14th. Yes, sir. Next we have
The Reaper, Texas Safe House Book 2 by Sylvia Violet, narrated by Michael Dean.
that one came out on the 14th. Then we had
Relevant Justice, Fearless Heart by Janice Jarrell, narrated by Walker Williams.
The Land of the Double Letters. Janice Jarrell, Walker Williams. That one came out on the 14th as well. Next is one of my favorite authors and narrators. Here we go.
To Wed the Barbarian, Barbarian Duet Book 1 by Kira Andrews, narrated by Michael Ferriolo.
And that's, I still can't pronounce it. I don't know. That one came out
I
on
can
the
pronounce
17th.
it, I just can't spell it.
Yeah, no, I get it. I doubt he can. Next we had
Football Royalty, Franklin U. Book 8 by Eden Finley, narrated by Tim Page.
that one came out on the 17th. Then we had
Step Bully by Willow Dixon, narrated by Michael Dean and Liam DeCosmo.
Just Met Willow Dixon. That one came out on the 18th. Then we had
Was she at GRL?
she was. She was
I
hanging out
missed
with-
her.
Yeah,
Aw.
she was hanging out with Nora quite a bit, and I didn't realize who she was. She's rather shy, which, great, so be it. But like I tried to have a conversation with her, and I got pulled away, and then I felt guilty. Like after that, it was just like I'd make eye contact across the room with her, and she would make eye contact and look down quickly. Actually, the same
But
exact
of course,
thing
you were
happened.
bouncing around all over the place. You couldn't
Well,
sit still for 5 minutes.
It's my job. That's what I do there. The same thing happened with Nora. Like I wanted to sit down with Nora all week long, and I got to sit down with her for about 10 minutes, like on the first day. And we really didn't chat about much. She came over and checked on me too, like very nicely, because I'm a little behind on one of her books, and she was getting a little jumpy.
Yeah,
And I get that. But
she was asking me the same thing.
yeah, and I'm like, everything's fine. We're all good here. We're all fine. How are you? But then, like the rest of the week, I had a goal to sit down with Nora, and it just never fucking happened. Every time I looked over at her, she was surrounded by people, and I think probably every time she looked over at me, I was surrounded by people. So it just didn't happen. That's the way it works. Anyways, that one came out on some indeterminate date. Next, we had this one. Look at that.
This one, yeah. Deadbeat Druid, the Adam Binder Novels Book 3 by David R. Slayton, narrated by Michael David Axtell.
There's a lot of names in that one. Next, we had
The Christmas Spirit, a novel by Debbie Macomber, narrated by Eliza Foss.
I do like the distinction there. The Christmas Spirit. It's a novel.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a shoe. It's a novel.
Or a novella. It's a novel.
It's a novel. Next we had
Clueless Romeo.
wait a minute, I
Guys
think we
Next Door
hang
series.
on here, I think
Whoop,
we missed,
hold on.
Yeah. There we go. Sorry
Yeah,
about
there it
that.
is.
Yep.
Yeah, you jumped ahead. Clueless Romeo, Guys Next Door Book 3 by Balin Crow, narrated by Iggy Toma.
And that one came out on the 18th. Then we had
The Professor's Dragon. Here Be Dragon Series Book 2 by Louisa Masters, narrated by Joel Leslie.
and that one came out on the 18th. And the next we have is an audio clip. Here we go.
Hey, Ramblin' Gramlin, this is Lance West, and I'm here to tell you I am so excited at the release of Get It Together, The Undead Detective Agency, Book 1 by Shelby Rhodes. This was a great romp of a story, and I hope you love it. Hello there! I'm Octavius Evander, and this is the beginning of my story. Well, sort of. It's not the very beginning. As a vampire, that story would be way too long to write down. Think before the Romans. Rather, this story is about how I met the love of my unlife. Okay, it will be mostly about the cool and fancy detective agency I opened and solving mysteries, but also a little about love, too. So, what does one need to open a detective agency, you may ask? Well, for one, a detective. As it was my idea, and I paid for everything, I, of course, filled that role. Next, I needed a secretary. My beautiful and marginally dangerous best friend Scarlett filled that role. Now, I will admit, at the time, I had not thought further than that, and simply skipped to getting my detective license, an office, and some other necessities. My mind might have been too full of the fun adventures I was about to have. My hope was that those in and out of the paranormal communities would keep me entertained for a very long time. I quickly realized I still needed a driver, a tech person, and a witch that was good with ghosts. This is the story of how I found those people, and who would have thought the first to walk through the door would be human, with no knowledge of the paranormal. My precious Turney.
He said Turney like poopy.
No.
My precious poopy. That was my impression of it.
Well, this we a couple of us that were actually in Discord with Lance while he was doing this book, and Shelby was in there also, and she's extremely nice. They're both planning on doing GRL next year, and the parts I did hear from this one were extremely funny. He turns into a bat, and the voice just goes more sillier. I guess that's how you'd put it, but
I'd say more
it
silly,
should be
but it's all right.
more silly. Okay. And she sent me some stickers of said bat.
Dude, that's awesome. Actually, that's really cool. Look at that.
A little bat with a telephone. It's so cute.
Are you gonna put that back where Willie Nelson used to be?
I'm thinking about it.
You
There's a book back there right now, along with the GRL thing. I guess the book that they gave us, the program.
I changed my mind on that lamp of yours. I was thinking that it was like, like the rods he would shove down somebody's. But I think more so, it's more like it's like an enema plunger kind of deal. You got a bunch of enema plunger things back there. Like if it doesn't,
Well, my
come out,
GRL bag is on it
just
right
go,
now, so.
and just do like that. So, anyways, that one came out on the 19th. Thanks for sending that in, Lance. And it does sound fantastic. Sounds like a lot of fun. Next, we had
Speak and Obey. Virtuous Sinners, Book 1 by Kai Brightly and M.D. Gregory. Narrated by Keval Shaha.
Shaha. I'm not
Shaha.
sure. Shaha. I think just Shah.
Shah?
Yeah, I think
Shah.
just Shah. If you do Shaha, that sounds like you're getting someone like, ha. It's not like that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that one came out on the 21st. Next we had
Of Paper and Wood by Amy Bellows. Narrated by Tim North.
Tom North, but close enough. That one came out on the 21st.
Oh my
Next we
goodness, did I
had-
do that again?
Did I do that? Because I'm a pothole.
Did I do that? Yeah, right. Skinny Dipping. Lost in the Water by Aidan Lovely. Narrated by David Jeffries.
Jeffries.
Could be.
Yeah, I would think that one came out on
Okay.
the 21st. Next we had another audio clip. Here we go.
Hey there, this is Kevin Earlywine. I'm here to talk about Accidental Detour, written by D.K. Sutton. What do I do when a drool-worthy stranger steals my car? Okay, so it's not my car, but that's not the important part. I'm currently hiding in the back seat from my carjacker, possible psycho killer, trying to ignore his sexy scent, lumberjack shoulders, and obnoxious singing. And I think he knows I'm here. Accidental Detour is a 17,000-word gay romance full of questionable decisions, attempts at holiday cheer, an unexpected road trip, and a car named Stella. This humorous Christmas story is a standalone with a happily ever after.
So a guy gets carjacked, and then they fuck. Is that the story going on there?
I guess. Maybe I haven't read it
Okay.
or listened to it yet.
It does sound like
I did meet DK Sutton at GRL, and she was amazing.
DK Sutton is amazing. It's like you're like Hey, don't take my car. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow, you're kind of wow. I mean, do you want to come back here in the back seat? It's just a very Brooke said carjacked and then jacked off.
Oh, Lord. That's funny.
Oh, I love my job. All right, that one came out sometime. Next we had
Frat Wars, Presidential Chaos by Saxon James, narrated by Iggy Toma and Alexander Sandis.
you did that one correctly. Good job. Next we had
5 Dead Herrings, Quest Investigations Book 1 by E.J. Russell, narrated by Greg Boudreau.
you said
And
Tremblay
no, I did
wrong.
not say Tremblay wrong.
And
No.
that is totally not a herring on that cover. I'm just saying, I'm
That's a
no
seal.
expert. I'm no expert in animals, but that's not a herring.
Yeah, nope, that's a seal.
Yeah. Next we had
Bet You, Franklin University, or Franklin U, Book 4 by Nev Wilder, narrated by Nick J. Russo.
that is an amazing series going on there. That one came out on the 24th, and next we had
Home Goal and My Goal, 2 Gay Footballer Stories by H. J. Perry, narrated by Piers Ryman.
We owe Pierce Ryman. I fucked up the Talk to the Beard on Monday. I did not realize it was at 3 o'clock. I thought it was at 5. So we owe getting Pierce Ryman back on the show because that's my fault. But more importantly here, that's soccer. It's not football. That's soccer. Okay, can we make the distinction
Well,
here?
it is to the other parts of the world.
Right. But what do they call football?
They don't have football.
Yeah, but what do they refer to when they talk about the real sport, the one we play over in America here that's called football? What do they call that?
Ask a British person. I have no clue.
Yeah, what they call it is American football, right? That's exactly what they call it. Why can't we make the distinction between the two? I don't understand it. They call it soccer. That's a good point, Brooke. They must call it soccer. Anyways, that one came out on the 24th. Then we won the war is what I'm saying. We won the fucking war. It's football, all right? That's that's all I'm saying. Anyways, let's go on.
Anyway, Destined Prey, Wild Ones Book 1 by Bailey Bradford, narrated by Troy DeSoto.
I said rugby is a real sport. Oh, my goodness gracious. I don't want to get into the whole,
That dude on that
economy
cover
of
looks
these.
like he's looking into your soul.
Well, he kind of does. He also looks a little blurry on the top, too. Is that Bigfoot? Is that what that is on the cover?
I don't know.
Then
Apparently
we
there's
had
wolves there. Companion Required by Brian Lancaster, narrated by Richard Reynolds.
I mean, they're going to start calling like badminton real sports of this. Like, play badminton or croquet. Is that what you all do? You crochet together? Is that anyways.
Cricket.
Yeah, cricket. That's a real sport right there. That one came out on the 24th, by the way. Next we had
Season's Beatings, a steamy gay holiday short by L.A. Witt, narrated by Michael Furiello.
I'm just shaking my head. Next we had
Wisdom Creek, Dungeons and Dating Book 2 by Catherine McIntyre. Yeah. Narrated by Zachary Zaba.
Zaba. And that one came out on the 24th as well. We got another one from Zachary coming up here.
No.
Wait a minute. Did I
You
miss
and
one?
I rewritten a novel.
Yeah, it's my bad. Keep on going.
By Chip Pons, narrated by Kai Rubio.
That one came out on the 25th. Then we had, by the way, I bet you Kai is an Omega.
Checking Him Out by Debbie McGowan, narrated by Tim Larkfield.
That one came out on the 25th as well. Then we had
The Devil You Know, Witchbane Book 6 by Morgan Bryce, narrated by Cale Williams.
It means I'm going to lose my crowd. No, that was a week ago. We're good. That one came
You
out
don't
on the
have
25th.
a crowd.
Wow.
Because you're not working
Look at
right
you.
now.
Yeah, well, I'm about to start working again. I was on vacation. Fuck you. Then we had
Of Feathers and Thorns by Kit Vincent, narrated by James Fooey.
Fooey.
Fooey? That's what I'm going with.
All right, no, that's fair enough. Fooey. It sounds like my mom saying something tastes bad. Fooey.
That's
Next we had an audio clip here. Here we go.
Hey folks, it's Sean Crisden with another new one just released to audio.
God damn you,
Summer Sweat, a Spruce, Texas romance, book 6, by Daryl Banner, narrated by Chris Chambers and me, Sean Crisden. Ex-football player and town sweetheart Harrison prepares for another hot summer tending to the Strong farm. All he wants to do is work hard, care for the animals, and enjoy the peace and quiet of the Spruce, Texas countryside. But when down on his luck, cocky young troublemaker is hired on as extra help for the summer, and Harrison is personally tasked with teaching him the ropes. These two men fight, butt heads, and discover more reasons to sweat than just the blistering heat. Check out Summer Sweat by Daryl Banner, a Spruce, Texas romance, book number 6.
Mm.
I was very confused by that because I was like, dude, but it's not Sean on the cover. Sean does not have an earring. That one came out on the 25th as well, and thank you, Sean. I appreciate that, you goddamn sexy motherfucker. Next we had
King of Immortal Tithe. Yeah, okay. Darkmoor Universe Book 2 by Ben Alderson, narrated by Sean Grundle.
there's this. We went to the Renaissance Festival when Anna was here. We took her to the Renaissance Festival, and it was fantastic, by the way. Taking a German to an American Renaissance Festival was a lot of fun. She was like, oh my God, like people dress up at these things. It was hilarious. But there's this famous show. It's called the Mud Show. They have the Mud Show at a bunch of different Renaissance festivals. It's not just at ours. And on the Mud Show, there's 3 comedians, and what they do is they have a mud pit in front of them, and they reenact, I guess, Shakespearean-style stories in a comedic fashion. And part of the show on each of them is that they get doused in this mud pit that's in front of the stage, and the crowd. It's like going to what's that comedian that used to smash watermelons? He was your favorite.
Gallagher.
Thank you. So it's like going to a Gallagher show. When the mud gets splashed, the crowd gets splashed with mud as well. So you'll see like the crowd with like plastic sheets and shit. It's hilarious. But one of them is Grindle, and it's Grindle, Grindle, Grindle. That's why I told that whole story, because Sean Grindle just made me think Grindle, 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 and then the mud splash, and so anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we heard stories.
You heard stories? Wait.
Something about a tail.
Yeah, well, they chicks walk around with little furry tails going around the Renaissance Festival. I mean,
kind of wanted Jody had to have a tail.
Well, dude, have you seen my wife's tail? It's freaking amazing. Brooke says that Anna should have dressed up. She did, in fact, dress up. We went to the thrift store a couple days before. We got her an outfit, and she looked fantastic in it. She didn't look like my wife. My wife looks really good when she goes to the Renaissance Festival. And there's 2 reasons for that. 1, my wife has a lovely tail. And 2, women are required, if they dress up at the Renaissance Festival, to show cleavage. And my wife has some cleavage. So there was some... I digress. I'm sorry about this, but yes.
Yes, we met your lovely wife. She was awesome.
And it's
Brooke kind of was like, why is everybody taking pictures with Jody's husband?
I don't blame you one bit. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, Jody was amazing. I love her. She should go next year.
Everyone likes my wife more than me. That is a fact. So, yeah. When they meet, they're like, "How did what the fuck happened there? Did you lose a bet, Jody? What the fuck happened?" I get that a lot. Yep.
Yeah.
That one came out at some indeterminate date. Next we have
His Reluctant Cowboy, Woods Ranch Book 2 by A.M. Arthur, narrated by Michael Dean.
And that one came out on the 25th. Then we had
Drama Runaway, Nikki and Noah Mysteries Book 10 by Joe Constantino, narrated by Caleb A. Meacham. Never heard of that narrator before, but
me neither. But
fun.
Congratulations there. That looks like one of the. It has the feel of those old siren books that we used to narrate years and years ago. But did you notice that guy's getting his head cut off?
Yeah.
Is that part of the story? Anyways, next we had
Horny. Hot Holiday
not right
Novellas by
now,
Jada
thank you,
Marks.
but
TMI. Narrated by Denver Stevens.
that one came out on the 26th. I'll tell you what, kudos to maybe the best title I've ever seen. It's fantastic. That one came out on the 26th. Then we had
Real Hazard, MM Romantic Suspense, West Coast Forensics Book 4. By L. Keaton, narrated by Michael Dean.
And that one was on the
He
28th.
was a busy man.
Yeah, looked like it. Here we go. Next one is
Lesser Known Monsters by Rory Michelson, narrated by Reese Jennings.
came out on the 31st. That was a Halloween release along with
Give 'Em Hell, Hellhound Champions Book 3 by Macy Blake and Casey Drake. Hey, that rhymes. Narrated by Michael Dean.
that one came out on the 31st as well. Then we had
Not So Silent Night by H.L. Day, narrated by Mr. Jake Whaley.
Mr. I like that. I should put that in
Mr.
front of mine. Mr. John Solo. And that one came out on the 1st. Then we had
Undone, Vino and Veritas by Leslie McAdam, narrated by Tim Page and Iggy Toma.
that one was on the 1st as well. Then we had
I think that was like book 18. That series. Yeah.
they keep going.
Head Rush. Yeah. Head Rush by Davidson King, narrated by Alexander Sandis and John Solo.
I'm glad you can say his name because I can't, and I work with him. That one came out on the 1st. Then we had
Battle to Surrender, Heroes at Home, Book 3 by Willow Dixon, narrated by John Solo and J.F. Harding.
Sounds like I was busy that day as well. I remember that day.
One of them was Podium, and the other one was Tantor.
Exactly.
Those were the pre-orders.
I
So
was talking to Davidson King. I think we might have something else coming up with Davidson King as well, which is awesome. Then we had
Paris Dalencourt is About to Crumble by Alexis Hall, narrated by Edwin. Oh my God, words are hard. Edwin Goddard. Edwin, I don't know.
Try Ewan. You know, like
Ewan? Okay.
like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor, that guy.
Uh,
It's the same.
yeah,
it's
well.
the same name. It's all right. It's very complicated. The Scottish don't make anything easy. I learned that after meeting Jax, which, by the way, Jax. If anybody in the crowd, I think y'all do know Jax Blue. My God, that is one of the funniest human beings. And put her and Brooke together, and it is just about the best thing ever.
Her, Brooke, and Anna.
It was so much fun. That one came out on the 1st as well. Then we had
Cinders and Ashes, Book 5, a gay retelling of Cinderella by X Aratari.
You're gonna have to read it yourself.
Yeah. Narrated by Edward Fox and Hannah Hart.
That one came out on the 1st. Then we had
The Barbarian's Vow. Oh, can't speak. Barbarian Duet, Book 2 by Kira Andrews, narrated by Michael Ferriolo.
That one came out on the 1st. Then we had
Where Are You? By Felice Stevens, narrated by Declan Winters.
Oh, Declan. He was a lot of fun to meet in person, too. That one came out on the 1st as
He
well.
was.
And I think we're getting close. This might be the final release. It's the final
Yes, it is.
release. Here we go.
No. The Dragon Lord's Love, The High Garden Dragons, Book 8, by C.K. Noel, narrated by Aaron Ross.
You know, when you see a guy like that,
Wow.
what you're thinking, too, and aside from the he's doing that thing. I mean, he's a muscular, he's obviously athletic, he's probably into sports. I bet you he doesn't play soccer. I bet you that guy plays fucking football. So, what did you
I'm
listen
sure he's a
to
dragon,
over
too,
the
so.
last few weeks here? There we go.
We listened to The Coincidence. I gave this one 5 bullets. It was a very slow burn. And it took 9 chapters before the two main characters even met.
Now, all chapters are 27 pages long. Is that correct?
I don't know.
Well, you said 9 chapters.
I don't
but
count
a
the
chapter,
page.
Yeah, but a chapter could be 3 minutes long, or a chapter could be 40 minutes long. So when you say 9 chapters, people don't know how long that is, because chapters are not a form set. They're not a measurement of time or of words. So did it take 2
Well,
hours
it took a
in
long
the
time for
audio?
the two main characters to.
Okay.
I think it took about 4 hours for the
Okay.
main characters to.
That gives us a better judge.
Finally-
Do you understand?
It was like a 6.5 hour book.
Parsecs are confusing
And it was-
like that too. Anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt. I mean, I'm going to again at some point, but go ahead.
I know you are. It's just what you do. I kept yelling at both the MCs, the main character's family and friends, because all they wanted to do was say they needed somebody, and that being single meant being alone. And they kept telling them, like, no, I'm happy where I'm at. They were happy and content being single, and apparently the friends and family didn't like that. I don't like that. When they finally did get together, they figured out they lived in the same building on the same floor. And once they got together, yeah, all bets were off, and they were having a good time.
I think what you're trying
Kale
to
and
say
Felice-
is they were fucking. Is that what you're trying to say?
like
there?
bunnies,
Horny? Yeah, I get it.
Yep.
All right.
pretty much. Once they got over the initial steps of getting to know each other and all that. But Kale did a fantastic job, and he did growl several times. I think the theme of this week is going to be growling. And I love this book. I've had it in my wish list for the longest time, and finally got a hold of it and listened to it, and I loved it. But of course, I love almost everything Felice does, and Kale.
Excellent. So you don't really like kale. You like kale. So I get it.
I like Kale the person.
I got you. So that was a 5 bullets. Next we had
Unearthed by Cora Knight, narrated by Michael Dean. This one was a bullet breaker.
Hey-o!
It was it was of the spin-off of Upending Tad. Again, Cora is an amazing writer, really brings you into the world that she's created, and with Michael's performance, it just heightened it. The book does interweave into the Upending Tad timeline, and there's 2 parts to this duology, of course. Book 2 should be out within the next couple weeks because Michael's finished with it. Cora posted it saying amazing. This one didn't wear me out as emotionally like Upending Tad
We'll
did.
talk about a slip there.
Yeah, I caught myself. No, not physically, but emotionally.
Right.
She still makes you feel like you're in the room with them, and she's amazing. And I felt that this was one of Michael's best narrations.
Nice. Is that like, what's the qualification there? Is that like how many growls per finished hour? I'm not sure how we should use.
That he does?
Yes.
No.
Wait,
that he doesn't go-
stop. Are you saying that you
What?
also have growled during the...
I may have. I may not have.
3 growls and a nap later?
But yeah, he was very growly in this one. He did Max's voice amazingly well.
I got you.
But yeah, I do feel it's one of his best narrations.
What?
And can't wait for Revival to come out.
It's a wonderful world that we live in today, where we can have things. Can you imagine, like, what? Well, let's go back to like the 1800s, because they didn't have electric, so there were no bullets at that point, and they didn't have audio, so they would have to. I mean, it'd just be a bunch of people around a campfire growling and shit. It was probably a whole different.
I think they had brothels for that.
I don't know. Is that like chicken soup? Is that what the brothel is? Is it brothel?
No. Oh, Lordy.
Sorry.
No.
All right.
Anyway,
So
speaking of
I'm
growling.
glad you enjoyed that. Here we go. The last one.
Yeah, speaking of growling. This one was also a bullet breaker.
Hey.
All the food, sex, and perfect babies one person can handle. Of course, the narrator did some lovely growling.
That's
Egan
Mr.
and
John
Ollie.
Solo to you. I'm
Yeah,
done.
okay.
It's your turn.
Egan and Ollie were this book's couple. I know it came out a while ago, and was just now getting around to listening to it. But I yelled at Ollie several times because he was thinking he wasn't worth Egan or being his perfect mate. I was so glad when he finally got it through his head that he was. And apparently, I can't wait for the next book to hear more yummy growling. But this book was really good. Food, sex, and perfect babies all one. Yeah,
that describes
all
it.
in one go.
We got the next one coming up in December, by the way.
Yeah, I think that's what Tracy was telling me.
So not too far away. Well, thank you. You did a wonderful job. Thank you for being so patient. I know that's one of your virtues.
Hey, I'm more patient now than I was before.
Got 3 weeks without rambling, but now we're back on track and we're getting back to work. For anyone that is interested, I cannot guarantee this because I've got a bit of stuff to do before I can get in there, but I should be working today from around 3 o'clock until 5 in Discord. I can't guarantee that. We're working on The Perilous Courts. That is a podium project. It's me and Kurt Graves, and it's kind of complicated. So I'm doing a lot of the back end work today, trying to get everything set up for it. So hopefully I will see you then. If not, I'll be in the booth tomorrow around noon. So one or the other. But, Brooke, I will certainly tell Jody that you said hi. I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody, for hanging.
Yes, tell Brooke we all said hi. We miss her.
Brooke, we all
we miss
say
you
hi.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we miss you too, but yeah.
Yeah, we did good. Love y'all. See you hopefully shortly. If nothing else, I will see you tomorrow. So peace out. Good luck.
Bye.
Have fun.